We are back now with Alvaro Bedoya, the recently fired FTC commissioner. And Alvaro, you are not alone. The president's made moves to shut down all kinds of oversight. He's fired independent watchdogs, inspector generals. He's gutted the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. He's paralyzed efforts at the National Labor Relations Board. Are you worried about who's next if President Trump's willing to fire people like yourself protected by statute or Supreme Court precedent? For example, is Jerome Powell's job safe?
Exactly. There is no legal reason, if the president's right, and I don't think he is, but if a court says he is right, that he can fire me at any point in time, there is nothing separating me from Jerome Powell, the head of the Federal Reserve. And so this isn't just bad news for consumers. It's not just bad news for small business owners. It's also potentially bad news for retirees, anyone with a 401k who has their life savings, their retirement on the stock market. And the chaos that might ensue from unjustly removing Chairman Powell, I don't even want to think about.
You said, quote, who will Trump's FTC work for? Will it work for billionaires or will it work for you? Our staff is unafraid of the Jeff Bezos of the world. That was a part of your statement previously. What do you make of billionaires having so much influence with this current administration, especially Elon Musk?
Let's talk about a really concrete example that actually involves Mr. Bezos. One of the last public statements I made before the president fired me involved denouncing Jeff Bezos directly to his face online, saying, hey, you know, when you talk about free markets and public liberties, which is what he wants to promote at the Post, I don't think about the Post. I think about the vending machines in your warehouses that dispense painkillers, not potato chips and soda. Senator Sanders just put out a report showing that Amazon warehouse workers have 2 times the injury rate as comparable warehouses. Their rotator cuffs tear, their wrists break, their hands stop working. And yet, after flowing almost $30 million towards the president, his inauguration, and his family, guess who is the new nominee to head the Occupational Safety and Health Administration? A former Amazon executive. So we are already seeing today what the results are of billionaires being able to decide who is in law enforcement. And it's not a world that is going to help working people trying to make rent, trying to pay those grocery bills. It's going to help the billionaires.
And we were just talking in the last block about Elon Musk and his efforts to impeach federal judges that are working against, or in their perception, they're working against, Trump's agenda while they're upholding the law. I know you're going to be in Denver for an event tomorrow with Bernie Sanders as he is doing this series of rallies against what he says is the American oligarchy. Tell us more about what's next for you and how you plan to fight back.
My plan is to blow the whistle about what will happen if what the president is doing is allowed to go forward. You mentioned Mr. Musk. You're looking at the guy who's responsible for enforcing a 20-year privacy consent decree against Twitter, against the company we now know as X. If people like Mr. Musk, if people like Mr. Bezos can pick and choose who enforces the laws against them, that's not a democracy. That's an autocracy, and a corrupt one at that. That is what I'm going to try to fight to avoid and warn people about what's to come.
Former FTC Commissioner Alvaro Bedoya, thank you very much for joining us and just sharing your thoughts, your insights, your expertise. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Anna. Thanks for having me.